Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. According to multiple reports, Donald Trump is embarrassed by FBI Director Kash Patel, and there are now discussions and debates among Trump's White House team about firing Patel. More on Patel's standing in a moment. First, here's the latest headache.
Government emails obtained by the Associated Press show Patel was allowed to snorkel at the Pearl Harbor Memorial in Hawaii last summer, one of the nation's most hallowed sites.
A Marine veteran trained to check on the site told the Associated Press, quote, "It's like having a bachelor party at a church." At the time of Patel's snorkeling excursion, the FBI insisted Patel was in Hawaii on official business. What the FBI didn't say is that Patel returned to Honolulu for 2 more days, and that's when he went on the private snorkel. FBI agents from their first day at the academy are warned not to use their position with the U.S. government to get private benefits. Former Special Agent Michael Feinberg says Patel's behavior is even worse than that.
He not only was obtaining an outing for himself not available to the general public, but he was doing it at a place that contains the remains, the corpses of American patriots who died serving their country. It's really difficult for me to think of a more inappropriate place he could have chosen in the entirety of the United States and its surrounding waterways to essentially get a private VIP snorkeling tour.
As analysts have noted, it would be like surfing along Normandy's Omaha Beach, or parasailing over Arlington National Cemetery, or rock climbing by scaling the 9/11 Memorial.
The site where he chose to go on a snorkeling frolic is functionally a mausoleum for armed service members who had no choice or say in where their bodies remain. They made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. One would hope that the respect due to that sacrifice would have caused Patel to at least pause before doing this. But I think we all know by now that such reflective pauses and self-awareness are just not a part of his constitutional makeup.
And that is underscored by documents showing Patel last year took the Justice Department's Gulfstream jet at least 9 times to Las Vegas, where he used to live, and 7 times to Nashville, where his girlfriend lives.
He's also used an FBI jet to travel to see his girlfriend sing the national anthem at a wrestling event held at Penn State University. So there's that.
More recently, headline, Make-A-Wish Cash took girlfriend to $50,000 suite for concert. The FBI director allegedly used FBI aircraft and security details for a concert date with his 20-something girlfriend. Headline, Kash Patel refuses to say who paid for him and his girlfriend to see George Strait concert from private luxury suite. In a New York Times story headline, a year inside Kash Patel's FBI, there was this.
One senior executive told the paper Patel, quote, doesn't like meetings in office settings. According to this senior official, during a secret conference in Britain of the Critical Intelligence Alliance, known as the Five Eyes, last May, Patel's staff said that he was, quote, unhappy because he wants premier soccer games. He wants to go jet skiing. He'd like a helicopter tour.
Now, upon hearing that the FBI director is more interested in helicopter tours and jet skiing than doing his job, you might think, is Kash Patel an alcoholic? Does he have a drinking problem? Well, at the Olympics, Patel was seen guzzling victory beers with the U.S. gold medal winning hockey team. And the Atlantic magazine recently added some context to Patel's alleged affinity for alcohol.
On multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated. This was Chris was just referencing. And that's according to information supplied to Justice Department and White House officials. A request for breaching equipment, normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams to quickly gain entry into buildings, was made last year because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request.
While testifying to the U.S. Senate, Kash Patel denied the reports.
Is it your testimony that those allegations are categorically false?
Unequivocally, categorically false.
So there have been no occasions during your tenure when FBI personnel were unable to promptly reach you?
Absolutely not. You can ask my entire workforce. They hear from me at every single hour of the day, as do these great gentlemen here, as do the men and women of the interagency.
There was one very simple question, though, that Patel refused to answer.
Do you know that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that? That's my last question.
I have not lied to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you.
Do you?
And
I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie. You still haven't answered my final question. Do you know, Mr. Director, that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that?
I do not lie to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
And you're insinuating that I am because
I asked you whether you know.
You want to correct your time in this session where you got steamrolled by the facts.
But it is a fact that under federal perjury statutes, if a witness knows that lying to Congress is a crime and lies anyway, that witness can be indicted for making false statements. Patel, upon being cornered over his knowledge and intent, tried to dodge. FBI agents say Patel's behavior, his testimony, his alleged drinking, his use of FBI aircraft for personal reasons, and his lack of judgment, including the snorkeling above the USS Arizona Memorial, has all left the FBI demoralized.
The men and women of the FBI are exhausted by Patel's antics in general, to the point where they may be numb to them because they happen so fast and furious these days that they bleed into one another.
But according to several reports, the Trump White House is taking note of the Patel controversies. And there are indications that Trump himself is considering firing the FBI director. According to accounts of White House debates, Trump appreciates Patel's willingness to be a total Trump loyalist. But on the other hand, Trump reportedly understands the public damage Patel keeps causing is getting worse. For example, according to MS Now, FBI insiders say Patel is padding the stats to boost his record of arrests. And that is low-hanging fruit for a Donald Trump nemesis, former FBI Director James Comey.
The FBI is the custodian of the country's crime stats. And if chiefs or citizens come to believe that they're monkeying around with the stats, they've lost it all. And so it's touching something that is indispensable, which is your ability to be trusted.
And that issue of public trust, or the lack of public trust in the FBI under Kash Patel, according to some Trump staff at the White House, that matters. And so Kash Patel is reportedly on thin ice and could be fired anytime. Patel, of course, is still desperate to keep his job, so desperate that Patel has refused to release the results of an annual survey of FBI employees known as the Climate Survey. It's a survey where every FBI employee is asked how things are going. How do you feel about the FBI director? That survey is not being released. And there are some reports that Patel is trying to stop the annual FBI survey altogether. In any case, there is every indication that Kash Patel's days at the FBI are numbered. As one Trump administration official has noted, it's one thing to lack judgment, it's another to get caught and keep generating horrible headlines. By the way, a three-time Trump voter just called into C-SPAN and apologized to all Americans.
Well, I'd like to first say I apologize to all of America and all of Americans. I was a diehard Republican. I cannot believe I drank the Kool-Aid, okay? I am guilty. I drank the Kool-Aid of Donald J. Trump. Now, I drank the Kool-Aid. How did I drink the Kool-Aid? I can't even answer that. I don't know if it was those stupid rallies I went to, I got rid of my Make America Great Again hat, okay? I got rid of that. I can't even believe I wore that hat. So that's where I'm at. I don't know what to say anymore.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Alex, who wrote, "Apologize to the rest of the world, too. We're all suffering because of America's stupidity." Well said. I look forward to reading your comments about the controversies and problems piling up for FBI Director Kash Patel. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.